everybody, welcome to another episode of the Cynical Marketers. We are, where are we at? Episode, what, 67?
15. Yeah. Season
67
2,
total.
episode 15.
And in season 2, episode 15. So
Yep.
we're getting there. I think Alex Hormozy said they did 100 podcasts before he popped into the top 10 on Apple. So we're almost there. I think we're about
Almost
to get
there.
into the top 10.
Yeah.
We're almost there.
Especially on the marketing side. I mean,
Yeah.
there's barely any marketing podcasts. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we're averaging like five to 10 views a podcast. So, I mean, we are on our way. Fame and fortune coming.
Absolutely.
It's right around the corner. So, all right, this week we're going to do questions and answers here that were common when we were looking on Reddit. Nada found some of these. These are questions people were asking marketers. So
Yeah.
we're
I
marketers.
love the marketing. I love the
Yeah,
marketing.
so we can ask
AMA
these
on
questions
Reddit.
and, see what you guys think. Guy, maybe, fan
Hi, Lance.
who's watching or listening. We'll see. All right, so I'll do the first one here. And this is Nada. I know Nada's going to light up on this one. Here's a question. Is email marketing still worth it in 2026, or are we all just pretending it works because we've already invested in it?
Mike, the way I was going to start angry typing a response on Reddit when I saw this made my blood boil. But we hear this all the time. Like, why do I need to do email marketing? Yes, please do email. Email should be 30% of your revenue, especially if you're an e-commerce brand. It is just the lowest hanging fruit of all marketing efforts, I feel like. It is so important for you and it is so easy to do. People have already shown up. They've given you their contact information. They've given you, in some cases, their text, like their phone number, so you can text them. Email is so, so, so important. And people get hung up on this because I have seen so many folks online do these extremely awesome designs of these long designed emails, and they're interactive and they're awesome. And I think people, average, like small business to mid-sized business, they see this stuff and they're like, well, I'm not doing that. So is it even worth me doing email marketing?
Right.
And yet, yes, it is. You have to do it. It's not that everybody is already invested in it and it doesn't work. It should be driving a third of your business. And I will die on this hill. And if it's not, by the way, like, come talk to us. But like, literally, it should be driving a third of your business. If it's not, you're doing retention marketing wrong. Like, it is. I started responding, Mike, on Reddit, and I was like, no, I got to put my phone down. I'm not touching this one because I wasn't going to be nice about it. Like, this is the dumbest question ever for retention marketing. Yes, do the emails,
For me, it's,
I talk about this for an
your
entire
email
hour.
list is one of the few things that you own.
Yes.
This
is why
everything else really can be taken away from you at any time. You can get banned from some social platform, get a Google penalty. You don't know. And crazy things happen. But your email list, you own that. And,
And
even if you get banned by MailChimp or something, and this happens to everybody, don't say, well, how do you get banned? You have to do something stupid. Like, no, you really don't.
No, you don't.
You own it, and you download your list periodically, and and these are people typically who have said they've opted in. Obviously, we're not talking cold email.
Right.
Your email marketing to people who have said, I want to hear from you. So why wouldn't you? And keep getting repeat purchases and stay connected to people, even if you're not always selling, which you shouldn't be. But is it worth it? Of course
Don't
it's
always
still
sell
worth it.
and don't drive promos in every email, but definitely do email marketing. To your point, Mike, though, these are people who have opted in who want to hear from you. We don't talk about like lead gen emails here. That is not email marketing. Like, that is a whole different outreach, lead generation. And it gets interchangeable too. I've seen people talk about it on Reddit. Like, that's not what we're talking about. We are talking about you are a direct to consumer or a B2B business that is trying to keep your current customers informed, or your current subscribers. Because a lot of the times people will subscribe and they will not buy from you yet. So you need to use those emails and those phone numbers that you've collected to stay in touch with those people can easily become your customers. They've already
Yep.
given you green light that they're interested in what you're doing. So yes, please, for the love of everything, do not like just set email aside. That is not a strategy we support here.
There you go. All right.
Anyway, yeah,
Next
you
one.
talk about this for hours. But Mike, this is a good one because I had to stop and kind of think about this one. How much of modern marketing success is actually skill versus you just having a big budget and you can do whatever you want?
That's a good question. The people without budget will always say, oh, of course, it's so easy when you have a lot of money. And I will tell you, I have had zero budget and I have had a huge budget. I've been up to 20 plus million a year in a marketing budget, right? So that's a pretty good sized budget. Things do get easier when you got a lot of money, for sure. I would much rather have that $20 million budget than just trying to shoestring everything, for sure. But when you don't have any money, then it really is all about skill and what can you do. And, money hides some of your problems, but not all of them, because you can just spend and spend and spend. And somebody is going to want a return on that money when you're spending it. There is somebody looking at you to say, when you have a budget that size, it's not just you spending it and do whatever you want. Somebody is asking questions. So you really have to produce too when you have a big budget. Things do get a little bit easier because you can hire people. The less budget you have, the more your team size typically is like, I might have one person or two people and we've got to do all the things. When you get to a bigger budget, then that's when you start getting specialists or agencies. You get specialized agencies doing different tasks, And I'm working with a client right now who's in that space. They're a big, a large firm, and they have a lot of agencies who do specialized tasks, right? So things do get easier, but then the skill set's a little bit different. The expectations become different. And I'll tell you that the pressure, like when I had that $20 million plus budget, I was not healthy. The stress level was amazing, and because you're like, man, and because your decisions are big too, when you're doing stuff, it's like, well, what are we going to do? And you're like, well, we're talking to the NFL. You're like, well, this is a pretty big thing. What if it doesn't work? I'm out, so I don't know. Is it better? Of course it's better to have more money. Always better. Money does solve some problems, but it's also mo money, mo problems. Always happens too. It's a grass is always greener.
The skill has to be there regardless of the budget size.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of a strange thing to say. Like, how much is it actually skill versus budget? But I think the skill needs to be there. You can maybe hide some lack of skill with a bigger budget, but the skill always needs to be there. I don't know. That's at least my take on it. I remember
you always have to have the
in
skill.
one of the,
lots of money won't hide lack of skill. It'll expose it even more, because you have, with a big budget, you've got a big bullhorn to blast your message out to people now. Your message can get louder, and if you're off and wrong, it will be loud and wrong quickly. Yeah. And like I said, if you got a budget like that, there are people who are asking questions of you then. Nobody's going to hand you a $20 million budget and just say, go have fun with this. Let us know how things go. No.
No, you got to make that and then some. Yep.
Yeah. You better turn this into something, because there's a lot of people out there who want that job. Everybody wants to be the CMO. And here's the thing is, like, it's not like lots of people can't be the CMO in an organization.
Right.
So there's a lot of people who want your seat.
Yeah.
The second in marketing, you are wrong, you're out. You're out, because there's 1,000 people who want your job.
It is definitely a
So
competitive field. But
it's
it's
tough.
interesting too, like you had said this in one of our previous episodes, and I don't remember in which context, but we had talked about like, I think like maybe Super Bowl commercials and stuff where we talked about how much money is spent on like one big event. But we were talking about folks like Nike and McDonald's and, like big folks with huge budgets.
Hmm.
And so it's one of those where we say, like, you can also have a little bit more room to fail when you have a big budget, right? Because for someone like Nike, like $1 million may be a drop in a bucket, right? Like in their budget. And they may do one campaign and it may go off the rails and it's not a good thing. But it's like a blimp on their radar. Whereas if you're smaller and fail on a 10% of what you're doing in your marketing efforts, it's noticeable immediately and very impactful to revenue. So I think like different stress factors, like you said, might come into play with different
Yeah.
size budgets. But like you
Yeah.
said, you can't hide that lack of skill anyway. So like a big budget will not help you in that regard. Like if you just don't have the skill set, you don't have the skill set.
And I'll tell you, like maybe for the CMO of McDonald's, $1 million failure somewhere is not a huge thing, right? But whoever ran
Right.
that project down and whatever team had that, their
Right.
budget reflected that $1 million, right? And they had goals to hit. So
Right.
somebody is answering for that failure. May not be the
Very.
CMO where he's like, yeah, okay, that one
Right.
missed. Somebody somewhere, because some VP had that team on their chart and that team was supposed to
Yeah.
produce X amount of results and they didn't, but they
Yeah.
still had their budget. Like you used 100% of your budget, but only produced 60% of the results you were expected to hit. Who's answering for that? Somebody's going to
Yeah.
answer, you know,
Absolutely. Oh yeah.
because there's people looking. The bigger you are, there are people looking. There's nothing but bean counters who do nothing but fire marketing people. That's all they do. So
Yeah.
it's a tough one.
That's definitely, yeah. I mean, there's so many good questions on here too, Mike. One of the ones that I thought, we had talked a bunch about AI, but is AI actually making marketing better or just flooding the internet with more forgettable content? That was one of the ones. And like we
Oh,
talked about AI slop and stuff,
B.
but
It's B for
I know you
sure.
feel strongly
Yeah.
about this.
It's the two options were better or worse. Worse. AI is making everything worse. So I don't think there's a benefit overall. There are people doing better with it, but show me the company who has really won with it. Where is that? Where is that case study? Who's done it? Because all I see are influencers out there saying, "Look at all this stuff that I'm doing." Like I use Claude Code
Yeah.
and look, I did the blah blah. I'm like, well, let me see. And why can't that be replicated?
Yeah.
I think again, and people think I'm anti-AI, and somebody called me an idiot the other day on one of my videos, which I am. They're not wrong, but I'm not anti-AI by any means. I think it does some good things. But like in our previous question, is it budget or skill? Do you think AI replaces skills? You still have to know. You have to know if this is right or wrong. And AI just, have you seen that video series? There's a couple now, and I can't remember the guy's name, but he does a thing. He's like, hey, ChatGPT, I just took my sunglasses off. What do you think? And he's
Yeah.
showing, he's like, oh yeah, totally. Look great. They're up on your head right now. And he's still wearing them. He's like, no, I'm still wearing them. Oh, you're right. I see that now,
Yeah.
and there's
It doesn't
another guy who's trying to get chat to count to 200 and
Yeah.
it won't do it. It's just so
Yeah.
funny. And another
Yeah.
study of AI, like the psychology there, we've talked AI a lot, right?
We've
But
talked AI, yeah.
it
It's
makes it
interesting though because
easier. And when things get easy, that means everyone can do it. So it just floods the market. There's a video that I was going to do one on that this guy just did a study and he said now 40% of content on the internet is AI generated.
yeah, which is wild.
It's
And it's
crazy.
interesting
Is it
because,
better?
and I feel, I don't know, is it like more entertaining? I know there's people who have done now avatars of themselves and they do AI content that way, which drives me nuts because it's so apparent, right? And we've tested a few apps of this on our own so that we know and, know what people are working with. I just think it's so, a lot of it though is in a way, because what I thought this question was interesting because it didn't ask if, marketing was like better or more forgettable. It didn't say like if the content was bad or if it wasn't effective, right? It's that we are starting to recognize patterns of how AI speaks. So I can almost tell when, even if I'm listening to a creator who's making a, talking head video, I can tell if ChatGPT wrote it, right? Like I can tell, because we've used it enough and I've used it enough for copy, where we can recognize it now. And if it's 40% of it out there, Mike, like we are almost like losing ability to be creative and interesting. Like I take us back to like Grunt Style when we were doing content, and Alex and I actually just exchanged a few messages about this when you and him did the whole Alex Will Do It series, right? We were doing content before content was a thing, right? Before it had a name. We were just doing social media posts. That's what we were doing, of videos and like long form, like YouTube series of things, but it didn't have a name. And it wasn't like you had to get the next one and the next one and the next one to get more views, more engagement. We did it for kind of consistency and viewership, but I don't know, and I don't remember, and maybe I just wasn't that involved, that we were that obsessed with metrics. I think people push so much AI stuff now because it's faster to generate, right? So it does become forgettable because everybody's speaking in the same way and everybody's doing the same thing. There's very few people that I'm like, oh, that's cool because that's original. I can tell that you're not like forcing content. You just made this video because it's fun for you to do or whatever it is, right? So like I think forgettable is an interesting kind of choice of word there for me, like because I do feel that way. I can't think of there's a lot of creators I follow that I'm like their content is great, but I can't, if I had to like stop right now and think of something, it all kind of gives the same feel. So yeah, forgettable is interesting. I don't know.
And again,
Anyway,
if it's
I digress.
40% is AI generated, and he said that's mostly SEO content, right? So now the SEO world, you're going to hire these agencies, and that's all they're going to do too, because they can have, rather than paying somebody actually to write, now I can hire somebody from a call center country and pay them very little to just pump out AI garbage articles now,
Yep. Yeah.
and it doesn't matter. And I did a video for our agency yesterday on SEO is not brand building.
Yeah.
And this is why, and it's because of this kind of stuff. When you do those kind of articles and things aren't meant or written for actual people. You're doing that to impress Google or Bing, not an actual person.
Right.
So how good is it? And again, if everyone can do it, then there's nothing special about it. If you can just get a Chat GPT or a Claude subscription, and if you think that's going to set you apart from your competitors because you're on a $20 tier instead of the free one, so I'm better than my competitor, it doesn't.
No.
When everyone can do it, then it's not a differentiator. You're not special.
Mike, one
Then
more.
that's what AI does. It makes everybody the same.
One more for you because you brought up brand building. So I have to ask this one. Is brand building just what marketers say when the ads stop working? I thought that was an interesting one because it's so hard, and I find this has been difficult for me, and I think us as Big Brain Strategy, to explain to people why brand building matters and why strategy matters, because we've talked a ton about this. People confuse strategy and tactics all the time, right? So what's brand building, Mike, and why is it just what marketers say when their ads are not performing? They're like, yeah, well, we're brand building.
Maybe, but your ads probably aren't performing because you don't have a brand, more than likely, and you stopped doing it. And for, what else are the reasons why your ads aren't performing? And if you have ads running, you probably more than likely have an agency doing it and they're not connected. They're a performance marketing group. They don't care about brand. They're not doing any of that stuff. You know, if you're actually running ads, you have more than likely an agency. Rare for you to have that in-house, you know, that skill set in-house. So they're not connected to your brand at all even. So when the ads stop working, I don't know, is it brand? I would bet that you weren't doing any because you're probably thinking, we have our Google ads, we're fine. Look at these things performing. We don't need to do it. Your accountant and CFO said that your marketing spend's a waste of money. And if you cut this off, just pour it all into Google ads and then you don't do anything else. And the problem is it's a lagging indicator. So you turn off your brand building and it takes a few months for that impact to be felt. And then you don't connect it. Businesses never make the connection. They see a degrading in performance of their ads and they're like, oh, our ads just aren't good. And they forgot they stopped doing brand building 4 months ago, 5 months ago, and they don't make the connection. You know? So when I hear people blame branding, and I know people, you know who says brand building is worthless or non-marketers? It's the people who work in IT. It's IT people and the accountants.
Yep.
And then CEOs, because all the CEOs, no CEOs come up through marketing. They come up.
Right.
They
come up through
bigger
different
companies.
ways,
They tend to come up through finance typically, or they came through the sales pipeline. There's no
Sales or
marketers
logistics, of some kind.
in
It's
the
interesting
CEO.
though, because and like it's interesting for me though. This is where I get into conflict with people on the retention side, where I say your name, your company name matters more than your subject line, and people will lose their minds because they'll be like, "Well, we need to
100%.
test subject lines." Sure, but your name matters. Who the email is from matters more than any subject line you will ever put out there. And again, I will die on this hill, but that's your brand building, you know?
You're 100% right. That is brand, and especially now because of AI and the cold outreach that's going on. You know, those tools of people now just able to blast
Blasting
emails
everybody.
at scale. I don't care what your subject lines are now. I don't know who you are. I'm assuming this is some kind of a scheme, or you're pitching me something. I didn't ask for this. I have no relationship with you, right? So now it's like, hey, like you said before, these are people who opted in. They wanted to hear from you. They're looking for messages from you.
Yeah.
And that is what separates your email now from those 40 or 50 just cold blasted emails you're getting in your inbox now, and people just able to blast at scale because of AI.
Oh yeah.
Your brand
100%.
matters way more now. So it impacts everything you do. When they say like, oh, our Google ads do great. Okay, how much in your Google ads was somebody searching your brand name and then they clicked on your Google ads? Because the Google ads people will take credit for everything. Can you tell me that? Like, oh, they don't want to tell you that. And then you'll have CFOs like, why do we have to spend money on our brand name? We need to neg those out. Like, neg out those keywords, and we shouldn't be paying for that. Like, hey, look, you got the click on your ad because you showed up, and then there were other choices there, and they knew your name, so they. Oh, I've seen these guys. Oh, okay, they do this. Oh, you know.
Yeah.
So, brand is.
It's always funny to me when people just don't even pay for their own brand key terms, because then you can see in Google, like in search results, in sponsored, it will be all their competitors, and then they'll come up under. It's like, what are you doing? But anyway, I can digress.
I know.
No,
It's
these
so
were
important.
good, Mike. I feel like we can go. You know, we can do an AMA session. That takes hours basically, and maybe we'll do a live. Soon.
Yeah,
for
we can
this,
do a
but
live on this.
I think these were good. Let us know what you guys think in comments. Like, put your questions in if anybody's listening. Hi, Lance.
If you're here, we tried to keep this one short today.
Yeah. If you're listening, put your questions in comments, and we'll answer them next time. We like doing these. These are fun.
Yeah. So thank you for listening. We appreciate it, everybody. Everybody. Listen.
Hi, Lance, again.
Everybody. Oh, that's funny.
Just you
So
and me and Lance all the time.
if
Fans of
you're
our show.
here, thank you. But
Yeah, we
we
appreciate
appreciate it. Thank you again, everyone. Tune in again.